You ever have one of those mornings where you walk into the shop and the air just smells like potential? Or maybe that was just the solvent I forgot to cap last night. Either way, we are back in the den.
Please tell me the windows were open. Seriously, though, you look unusually caffeinated today. Is it the heat or did a new tool arrive?
Little bit of both. It's August 2026, the humidity's thick enough to structural weld, and the industry is moving faster than a squirrel on a bird feeder. We've got a lot to unpack today, from plastic that acts like metal to the secret language of aluminum.
And don't forget the business side, because as you love to remind me, a shop full of beautiful things and zero customers is just an expensive hobby.
Exactly. Let's start with the gear. I've been messing around with this new 3D Fuel Pro PCTG. Now, look, I grew up thinking plastic was something you used to wrap leftovers, but this stuff, it's the Goldilocks material. PETG used to be the tough guy on the block, but it's a temperamental beast to print. This PCTG, it's got the backbone of a heavyweight boxer, but behaves like a polite house guest.
I knew you'd find a way to personify your filament. But for the folks who aren't deep in the spool pool yet, why does this matter? Is it just about things not snapping when you drop them?
It's about functional parts, Alex. I printed a replacement hinge for my cabinet jig last week. Usually, PLA would just shatter the second you put a real load on it. This stuff absorbed the vibration and just sat there doing its job. Plus, they're doing these full spectrum colors. It doesn't look like a toy, it looks like a component.
Speaking of components, I saw the specs on that Kitty Plus 5 combo you were eyeing. $900 for a bed that's basically a small parking lot?
18% larger than the previous model, and it hits 600 millimeters per second. Back in my day, printing a 10-inch bracket took a long weekend and 3 prayers to the gods of bed adhesion. Now, you can practically watch it grow like a mushroom. But the real winner is the Kitty Box. It dries 4 spools at once.
Is that really necessary, or is it just another gadget taking up bench space?
If your filament is wet, your project is garbage. It's the same as trying to glue up damp white oak. You'll get bubbles, pops, and structural failure. Having a heated dry box that keeps 4 different materials ready to rock at 65 degrees, that's not a luxury, that's just good housekeeping.
Okay, let's pivot from the plastic smithing to some heavy metal. You were reading the AWS Welding Journal this morning, the one about the 2026 aluminum code.
Man, I'm telling you, if you're a youngster looking for a career that'll pay for a house and a boat, look at aluminum. The industry's moving away from heavy steel and everything from EVs to skyscraper cladding. But aluminum is a different animal. It's like welding a stick of butter with a lightning bolt.
A stick of butter with a lightning bolt. Very poetic. But you mentioned a superpower in the blog post?
The D1.2 structural code. If you can certify in that, you aren't just a welder anymore. You're a specialist. It's a very specific dance, managing the heat sink, cleaning the oxide layer. If you get it wrong, the weld looks like gray cottage cheese and has the strength of a wet noodle. But if you get it right, it's a stack of silver dimes that'll outlive both of us.
So for our Trade Path listeners, the advice is don't just learn to weld the hard stuff.
Precisely. Go where the talent is thin and the demand is thick. That's how you write your own paycheck.
Speaking of paychecks, let's talk maker moguls. You and I both know people who make incredible furniture, but their Instagram looks like it was photographed through a screen door in 1994.
Hey, I feel attacked. I'm getting better. But you're right. In 2026, if you aren't using the AI tools for curation, you're shoveling sand against the tide. The algorithm doesn't just want a photo anymore, it wants responsiveness.
That's the big shift this year. It's not just about the post, it's about the DM automation and the native shopping. I see so many makers saying, link in bio to buy, and I'm just like, no, I'm already here. Let me click the bowl and give you my money.
It's a friction thing. Every extra click is a reason for a customer to walk away. And the micro-influencer move, that's been huge for the folks I follow. You don't need a million followers. You need one local person who loves your aesthetic and has 5,000 loyal neighbors watching them. Trade a custom cutting board for a few shoutouts. It's the modern version of the town square.
It's funny you mentioned the cutting board. That brings us to our DIY mastery section. I saw the basket weave project on the site. Tiger, tell the truth. How many times did you mess up the grain orientation on your first one?
You had to bring it up. My first basket weave looked like a topographical map of a disaster zone. I forgot that wood moves, Alex. If you don't respect the grain direction during that glue up, the board will literally try to tear itself apart the first time it gets wet.
I can see you now staring at a warped board in total betrayal.
It was a heartbreaker. But that's the beauty of it. That project forces you to be precise. It's about more than just pretty wood, it's about geometry and foresight. Same with that eight-sided gazebo people are building.
An eight-sided gazebo sounds like a recipe for a midlife crisis.
It's the ultimate test of measure twice, cut once. Actually, with an octagon, it's more like measure 4 times, stare at the miter saw for 10 minutes, pray, and then cut. If you're off by half a degree on the first cut, by the time you get to the eighth side, you've got a gap big enough to park a truck in.
So what's the secret, besides prayer?
Trust your gauges, not your eyes. And for the love of all that is holy, use scrap wood for your test fits. Don't go hacking into expensive cedar until you've proven the math works in pine. I learned that after making a very expensive pile of cedar toothpicks back in 2018.
Good tip. And I loved the mention of Bechtold woodworks. Their use of natural contrast instead of stains, that's a huge trend right now, isn't it?
It's the honest materials movement. Why use a chemical walnut stain on cheap pine when you can just use actual walnut next to some maple? It's like cooking with salt and pepper instead of drenching everything in ketchup. Let the wood speak for itself. Bechtold is a master at that, pairing dark heartwood with creamy sapwood to create a visual punch that doesn't feel forced.
We've covered a lot today. New age plastics, the silver dimes of aluminum welding, the brutal honesty of an eight-sided gazebo, and how to actually sell the stuff we make.
It all comes down to the same thing, really. Whether you're clicking print on a $900 machine or striking an arc on a structural beam, you've got to be willing to be a student. The second you think you've got it all figured out is the second the shop finds a way to humble you.
And you've been humbled many, many times.
More times than I'd like to admit on a recorded program. But that's the price of admission.
So, what's the one thing you want people to take away from today's digest?
Don't be afraid of the new just because you're comfortable with the old. Use the AI to help your business. Try the PCTG filament. Learn the new welding code. The craft stays the same. It's still about making something where there was nothing. But the tools are getting better every day. It's a crime not to use them.
Well said. I think I'm going to go see if I can find some natural contrast in my scrap pile.
Just make sure you cap that solvent first. I can't have you seeing double before you hit the table saw.
Deal. Thanks for hanging out in the den, everyone.
Stay gritty, stay creative. We'll see you at the workbench.